Okay, so basically, it works like this, right? You start here at the beginning of the tape. And with the way this works, it can only read one input at a time. So it's more like this, right? And given whatever the input is, it turns it to a capital in this case to show that it's marked it. So it'll turn this A to a capital A. Then it moves to the right. That's what that R means. It moves to the right. And in this case, it keeps going to the right until it hits a blank space, because on either side of your input on this tape, there's blank spaces. Here, here. So in this case, it marks it as an A, goes all the way over until it sees a blank space, then it goes left. And then it reads the B, puts it capital B. No. Then it does the same thing. And then instead of until it hits a blank space, it's until it hits a capital. So it hits that capital A, sees that it's already read it because it's capital, shifts back over. A. So at this point, it's gone from here, looped through here, blank space, hasn't hit a capital, hits a lowercase, turns that B to a capital B, loops back through until it finds a capital, and then turns that lowercase a into a capital A, and then does that again. And with the way this works, so you have the first input here, then you get loop through, last input. So this is 1, 2, and then I guess somehow this makes it check if it's odd. We'll see that maybe shortly. Either way, then it keeps going through that same upper circle, basically, by reading lowercase to uppercase. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. And it's doing that again by it overshoots, detects a boundary, like uppercase, and then it goes back. And then once again, it goes back through that loop, overshoots, sees a capital, and then adjusts itself to the proper orientation. Let's see, A, B, yeah. And then capital, lowercase, turn that A into an A. And then at this point, because this is an even number, it's 3 times 2, it's 6. It would have gone around a couple times. And with the way this loop works, because just the way it's shaped, it would end up, let's see, here instead of here. That's why it works. Because if it's an odd number, you'll loop around until you hit here. And then if you hit an uppercase on your way to the left, you get shot out to the rejection box. But we're here. And then turns it from capital A to capital A and stays. That's what that S means. It means it stays. It can either go left, right, or stay, just like it can read and write. And then it whatever you stopped on, which is the middle point, it converts that back into a lowercase. and then it goes right. So it's basically just doing process of elimination, and then it keeps looping through and turning uppercase to lowercase on this right side until it hits a blank space. That's what that square means. So it's expecting to go another one, but oh, it's a blank space. It goes left. That's what this means. Box means read box, write box. So don't write anything. So we're here. And now if it reads a B, turn that B into an X and then go left. So we've checked that it's even, basically, at this point. So read that it's an X, go left. Keep looping through. If you see an X or a B or an A, leave them as they are, is what that means. Fuck. Until you hit a blank space, as shown by, let's see. No, until you hit a capital. Until you hit a capital B. Which makes sense, because if there was no other capital B, then you would fail. And when you see that capital B, turn it into an X. And then loop back through to go all the way to the right. See an A, keep it an A, see a B, see an X. Once again, blank space. Then so it goes to that blank space. Then it wants you to, then the machine goes back left. And then if you read, so that takes you here. And if you read an X, leave it as an X and also go left. So basically it just sets you right up for the next last number or last letter. And once again, so we were here, then we read a B. So we go here, turn it to an X. Do the same thing again. If you read an A, leave it as an A. You read an X, leave it as an X. But if you read a capital A, you'll see because we read a B last on this section, because we went from the empty box, we went from that empty box at the end over here to X to this was a B. Because we read it as a B, there's no output other than expecting the first capital that you see to be a B. Now, because it's an A, the program stops. But, say for example, if we had given it, let's see. If we had given it AAB, AAB, it would have gone taken or gone all the way to the right. So it would have been AAB in all caps, right? Because that's what happens after the first loop. So AAB in all caps, then lowercase those, go off to the blank. The last letter would turn it from a B to an X. Check for the first capital letter because it's a B. We accept it because we went from here to there. Then go back, overshoot. Then it's an A. So we go, let's see. So we've gone B, turn that capital to an X, loop back through to the very end, overshoot over to here, overshoot past the X's until you get to this A. Now, because it's an A, we go down this route, which is expecting a capital A. And that's what it's going to get in this case. So it turns this A to an X and moves the pointer or the playhead into X, then go left, and it goes left, passes over lowercase, passes over X, sees a capital A. Just like before, turns that A to an X. And that's right here. Turns that capital A to an X, then goes back to moving all the way to the right, past any X's and past any lowercases. And it doesn't have to account for uppercase because all the other uppercases are behind this X. So it goes all the way to the end, sees that it's blank, passes through the X's because they're X's, and then finds an A, turns it to an X. So passes from the blank, so finds a blank here, down through the X's, expecting an A, iterates through all the X's and any remaining lower cases, which are just X's at this point. So turns it to an X, then starts moving right, passes over X, finds an A, turns that A to an X, and so now we're at this point. So we've gone from here to here, which means it's time to iterate back through X, 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 blank. And now, like before, it's iterating through the X's again. Find an X, 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 blank. Now this hasn't happened yet because all the other times before when it was iterating through the, all the other times before when it was iterating through the X's, it eventually found itself a B or an A to run into, capital or lowercase actually. But now it finds itself a blank once it's passed all the X's. And that's the acceptance state. So it's basically gone through process of elimination, scans them all, and if there's no more letters left, it means the program did its job, and we went from input A, this would be lowercase, B, B. We checked it, essentially, by going like this. What the fuck? We checked it really by going like this, process of elimination, with that playhead. Actually, I'll do it like this. Right, so we went process of elimination. We went yes. We went 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. So 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs. And then in doing that, we split it off along that middle line. And then we do another process of elimination where we're checking for matches. And then once they're all marked out, so we're going match, 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 finding ourselves here, scan it all the way through, and then it's good. So that's basically how it works. It's basically just 2 times of process of elimination, except instead of going inward like this, it's going the second time. It's going like this, checking for matches like this to make sure that this for the input for some word X, it's making it sure it's the input is 2X. And again, if it was A B A B B, it would be checking for that match here, cross it out here, and have nowhere to go because it's not a match. And then it would fail because you'd end up with 2X's, 3X, and then you just wouldn't be able to check through the whole thing. So that's how it works. It's really not super complicated.